Trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. It was a very long weekend. However, mambo, I'm so excited. Wow. Oh my gosh, I love when there's so many options to choose from. I love when our athletes are thriving on the track. And over the weekend, we saw a display at the World Indoor Championships qualifier about really and truly where our Jamaican athletes are in the bigger scheme of things. And all I can say is, I'm happy. Now I know a lot of y'all have been waiting for me to talk about the races. Guys, there's so much things going on. I have to be looking at what the collegiates are doing. So, you know, I waited a bit to talk about the World Indoor Championship qualifier. So here we are, arriving today. So let's jump into what really went down over the weekend. And I want to jump first into the men's 60-meter final because that one was very interesting. I'm telling you, from the heats, everybody was clocking, 6.5s. I was like, okay, what is going on? Regardless of the wind, the men turn up, and it's like there's so many people that didn't make it into the A final. It's ridiculous. I'm talking about 6.5s here, there, and everywhere. I was like, okay, this finals is about to be crazy, right? And you could barely separate the athletes in terms of the times that were done in the heats as well. So, as I said, it was exciting, and I was looking forward to seeing the finals, and the finals did not disappoint. No, Rohan Watson walked away with the win, running at 6.50 seconds track is, and that's a new personal best for him. Now, this race was done in a positive 1.5 meters per second wind, so we have to keep that in mind as well. But anyway, as I said, a new personal best 6.50 seconds. Now, MVP took the top three spots incidentally. Nishiani Banks clocked a 6.57 seconds, and Michael Campbell clocked a 6.60 seconds. That's a PB for him. All right, so track is. Right off the bat, just want to say congratulations to these athletes in terms of their performances, right? And it's interesting because I did do a video recently and I was speaking on, Nishan, Rohan, and not so much Michael Campbell, but he's always there with them when they're traveling as well. And I was saying, hey, I noticed that when they come back to Jamaica, right, the performances return to what they, typically were. I'm not really sure what's going on when they travel overseas. I'm not sure what the training is like. I'm not sure what the schedule is like. I'm not sure if there's something that's throwing them off. Why, when you see them run overseas indoors, and that's what's important, because if you're looking for athletes to go to the World Indoor Championships, you have to start thinking, well, how are they performing when they go indoors, right? So the times are roughly, around 6-8ish, right, when they go indoors. So not really displaying exactly what we have seen them do from an outdoors perspective, right? So there's that in the back of my mind when it comes to these set of athletes, right? And what's interesting as well is that for the most part of this season, Nishan was ahead of Rohan, right? And Rohan now seemingly is back into, the thick of it and, reclaiming, because he did do an interview where he was like, 2023 was awesome. He was the national champion over the 100 meters, right? However, maybe he overdid it a bit, in terms of training in 2024, but no, he's making sure that he's doing the right things. Plus, also, the training partners that are pushing him is making sure that he keeps on his toes and he's a hard worker. So here we are, seeing the display from these results. I have to say, I really enjoyed his form and his execution, right? So when it comes to that, I definitely thought, he was A1 there, and clearly at the time displayed that as well. For Nishian, wasn't really a fan of this particular execution. I've seen him execute better. I'm talking about outdoors, so he has a bit more to work on, but let's see what happens when these athletes start to run the actual 100, right? But for now, the 60, I suppose, is really good. Now the question now becomes, who is actually representing Jamaica in this 60 meters? Now, I did see somebody in the comments say to me at some particular point in time that why am I, looking down on, I can't believe this, Akeem Blake. And I was like, what are you talking about? I said Akeem Blake hasn't run a 60 all season. However, if he, indicates his interest, automatically I'm going to be thinking that he's a possibility to represent us. Why? Not only because he's the, World Indoor Championships bronze medalist, but also because since this season has begun, he's shown fine form. A lot of those athletes that, you'd see running fast. Let's give you an example, like a Julian Ford, right? We saw them on relay legs, and as far as I'm concerned, the leg that Akeem Blake ran was better than everybody else in terms of what was done so far. So as far as I'm concerned, right, he's better than everybody else. Maybe save a Kishane Thompson, right? So I was like, if he indicates his interest, what are you talking about? Akeem Blake for sure, right? So again, he ran the 200 meters at the World Indoor Championship qualifier, a race sponsored by him. I actually don't recall seeing this ever being done. So kudos to Akeem Blake, stepping up and doing a big one, paying forward. He remembers where he's coming from in terms of how he actually got into track and field. I don't know if a lot of you remember the story, how he hit up, Johan Blake through, I think it was DMs, and Johan was like, okay, come through, and the rest is history kind of thing. And here he is, sponsoring an event. So I'm really proud of him taking this step and this initiative, and I hope other athletes can look on Akeem Blake and think about it. Akeem Blake only just won, the Diamond League 100-meter final. So he's just raking in this money. He has so much things that he could probably be doing from a personal perspective, with that money, right? But he's paying forward. So really, really proud of him there in that particular aspect. But he ran the 200, as I said. There's no 200 at the World Indoor Championship. So I'm not really sure where we go from here when it comes to Akeem Blake and, his performance for now. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking it doesn't really look like he's interested, right? But also, I'm still thinking about the other men. Julian Ford didn't turn up as well, but I think I did see an interview or an article, sorry, done where he expressed interest as well in potentially competing. So I'm like, what exactly is going on here, right? So track is, I don't know. We can only send two people, and right now, as things stand, quite a few people that have indicated their interest haven't shown up, right? And as far as I'm concerned, in terms of stats, going in, or especially coming in from the previous year, they may get the nod, right? The likes of like a Kishane Thompson. So let's see how it goes. But for now, I think great performance from Rohan Watson, Nishiani Banks, and also Michael Campbell. Definitely, definitely impressed. Year in, year out, we can see the slow improvement from a Michael Campbell. So yeah, I'm happy for him. He was definitely not on my list to even make it into the finals. I swear to you, when I was watching those heats, I was like, what? These athletes are going for it, man. I was loving it. So yeah, that's what happened from a male perspective, right? So let's jump into the women, because I was like, dun dun dun. I was like, what now? This one is really, 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 really good, right? So before we got into the actual finals for the meet, clearly, we had to get through the heats, and three athletes really stood out, you would say, in the heats. One being Jodean Williams, who clocked a personal best 7.07 seconds. I was like, what? And I remember listening to the commentary, and somebody in the background, maybe, somebody in the stands, or maybe it was, somebody in the commentator booth, right? And there was like, Chobo Dede. And I was like, yes, indeed, Chobo Dede be true. I was like, wow, Jodine, that is amazing, right? So I was like, all right, this one is gonna be fire. So the other heats came up. Tina Clayton stood out in her heat as well, and also we had the likes of a Shericka Jackson standing out. So it was like, okay, how is this particular race going to go? Jodean so far has literally separated herself when it comes to who actually showed up for this women's 60-meter, qualifier, right? However, Jodine didn't show up in the finals. I said, Jodine, wow. Oh my gosh, Jodine, you're having such a season. I said, this would have definitely put the icing on the cake and left no doubt in anybody's mind. If anybody's having a little bit of doubt after the finals as well, because the finals, the result was very interesting. I believe her competing in the finals would have, laid away any doubts in anybody's mind. But track is right now, it's all up in smoke as far as I'm concerned. So the finals rolls around trackies, and what is interesting about this particular finals is that Tina Clayton took the win. Yes, track is Tina took the win. We're talking about Shericka Jackson being in the lineup, right? And Tina walks out with the win, running at 7.08 seconds, right? This is a season best for her because she does still have that 7.02 from way back when, done in this event. Actually, are they going off the 702? Anyway, she does have that 702 done from way back when in this event, right? Natasha Morrison was second. She ran a 7.09, a personal best, and Kishana Naz, representing Barbados, was third, and she ran at 7.12. Track is a personal best in this race. I mean, not telling no lie. Don't Shericka Cole, I mean Shericka Jackson run a personal best 7.14, and I'm talking about outdoor PBs because she does have the indoor PB, which is 704, right? And Serena Cole even ran a PB 7.20. So the athletes actually showed up and really, really laid down fantastic performances, right? So it left me now my mouth agape because honestly, while I'm sitting down and I'm thinking that yeah, Tina is definitely showing resurgence. And I don't know if it's just me. I said this in the last video that I talked about Tina, right? And I said that I was watching both athletes walk right by me. And it looks to me that Tina has shed some pounds in the last few weeks because what I was seeing, at the beginning of the season in terms of her size versus now is two different Tinas. So I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me or whatever the case is, but this looks like a mean, lean Tina, that is competing in these events. So, right, I was not having her, to potentially, walk away with the win this clear, right? But, well, then again, given it was 1/100 per second, it wasn't that clear, but still, it was a fantastic win for me, right? And then, of course, there was Natasha Marcy in the event and Shericka Jackson being fourth, right? I went back and I looked at Shericka's race. The 7.18 it was when she opened her indoor season. And I looked at this one. And though the time is faster here, clearly she runs a PB. So literally she's going from PB to PB. I didn't quite like this execution. And I went back and I looked and I don't know, her legs kind of looked a bit heavy. Y'all can tell me in the comment section if you're, thinking along the same lines. Her legs definitely looked a bit heavy, in my opinion. So when she tried to go, it's like, the legs weren't going with her as far as I'm concerned. But still, it was a fantastic time. 7.14, as I said. So now this leads us to who is representing Jamaica in that 60-meter finals when it comes to the World Indoor Championships. There's no way in my mind Jodean Williams is not interested, right? At all, right? So it's now a toss-up between, me don't tell her already, say, in my opinion, the best athlete I've seen so far this season is Tia Clayton, hands down, right? Even with these performances, my opinion does not change. I believe that the best person that I've seen technically executing that 60 is definitely a Tia Clayton. However, there's Jodean that's on fire. And if Jodean was in this race, let's say we're doing natural progression, right, in terms of times and getting gradually faster as you go from, semi-final to final, right? What would she have run in this race, considering that she already did a 7.07 from in the heats? I mean, that lay everybody out flat. Everybody was like, what now? 707 in the heats or semi? What are we going to get in the final? So potentially Jodean would have definitely gone, faster in my mind, in this race. However, she didn't, which is why I'm saying that it leaves the question mark now in people's minds. Is she that much better, or would she have, been around the same times like everybody else, in the A final that actually, came around and Tina took it, right? So that's the big question there in my mind as it relates to who represents Jamaica. All I know is I'm excited right now over these 60s. Tia looks good. Jodie looks good. Tina looks good. Shericka does look good, even though I didn't particularly like this farm. And MVP has a knockoff, perfectly timing these athletes and getting their performances to be the best when they actually go to the World Indoor Championships. We've seen it time and time again. And as I've pointed out in previous years, when it comes to Shericka Jackson, this is her best year. This has been her best year competing in the 60s in terms of a time perspective, right? And she was still able to go on from times that were 7.3s, let's put it that way, when she came out running those 60s in 2022, right? Her times were 7.3s, and she went to the World Indoor Championships and ran a 7.04. So from what we're seeing here from a Shericka Jackson, she's still on target to doing something better than she has ever done in the 60, as far as I'm concerned, if she represents Jamaica at the World Indoor Championships. The problem is, as I said, there's a Tia, there's a Jodean, and there's no Tina. You know what I mean? And yeah, as I said, Tina was, slowly coming through, and you could definitely see the resurgence. But this week definitely proved that, yeah, man, Yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. Whatever is going on, she's definitely back and hungry, and I'm happy for her. So, track is, I love when track is this exciting. I love when you're unsure of how things will go. You see, sometimes when the clear favorite is there, it kind of makes track boring, right? So, listen, you see, when you have these odds where you have so many different athletes that figure into it, it makes it so much more exciting, and it leaves us, wanting more. I want to see some more competition. I can't wait until these girls start to track next time around. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. So Tina looks fantastic. Shericka didn't look the best executing in the race, but it was still a fast time. Interestingly, Jodean didn't turn up to the finals after dropping a bomb in the heat. I'm like, Jackies, where do we go from here? Natasha Morrison also running a PB. I'm like, this year trials. Look here, 8 lanes will not be enough if all these athletes turn up in good health, and I'm praying that they remain as healthy as they can throughout the season. Sport is sport, and it will happen at the end of the day, but as long as these athletes remain healthy, 8 lanes will not be enough at the trials, the women's 100-meter finals. 8 lanes will not be enough. I don't care what anybody wants to say. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So far, I'm enjoying it. Trackies, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.